Okay, so this is nerf. I've had a lot of questions myself, and I'm sure everyone else has got an opinion on it as well. So here is mine. I won't use a script. I do have bullet points, however, that I will address. So, a nerf, in my opinion, in some capacity, does need to happen. Personally, I believe that the one at present will fix things in the short term, but not the long term. I believe it will cause more problems down the line if certain things are not addressed. Let's just take a step back, just for a brief moment. The fact is, back in 2013, 449,351 accounts voted for a 2007 version of RuneScape to be brought back to life. But one of the fundamental things that we loved about RuneScape back in the day was PvP. Now, I'm not going to bang on about PvP, it was just a point. Most of all, what we loved about the game was the ease of the combat system and how easy it was to understand and use it. As time has gone on, we're at 8 years now since the game has been relaunched, and we all know how mechanics work and how to exploit them now due to Jagex staffs, or OSRS staff should I say, lack of tightening the game client to what they can and can't do within the game. So as an example, if you cast your minds back to the original game, no client was allowed to interact directly with the game client itself. So if you don't know what that means, in a nutshell, nothing was allowed to be overlaid over the game client. You had to have just the original game client in a window, and then you had to have your calculators and timers around it. Nothing could overlay the game itself. It's not that I'm saying game clients are bad, it's that I'm saying they have made it a lot more easier for us to exploit the game in ways that it wasn't meant to be exploited. And subsequent of that, combat has now evolved from what it was. Excuse the pun for EOC, but that's the best word I could use to describe it. What I'm trying to say is, I believe OSRS staff need to address this publicly and remove all aspects of the combat triangle, or we need to take things back to its roots and rebalance absolutely everything so that in 5 to 10 years time from now, the game that we have doesn't need nerfs every 1 to 2 years by new items being introduced to the game because of power creeps and whatever else. My question to you is, do you want a combat triangle or not? Because if you do, changing just a few items isn't going to fix it. There is no triangle now. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. All I'm trying to understand is, what direction in the game do you want to take it? Do you want there to be a triangle, or do you want it to be like RS3 where there is no triangle and it doesn't really matter what weapons you use to kill things? Going back to them 449,000 votes that brought this game back to life. Without them, we wouldn't have the game that we love and are passionate about. So if you are voting for these balance changes, or you do have an opinion, please put aside your personal builds and vote for and suggest ideas that would benefit the game in the long run, not just the short term on your accounts. On the other side of that very same coin, Jagex staff are fortunate to work on a game that we love and we're passionate about. With that being said, this is not a knock on any Jagex staff member personally, but please remember, without our vote in 2013, some of you may not be fortunate to be in that position you are in now. So please listen to the community entirely. Not just content creators, not influencers, and not anything else in between that has risen since the relaunch back in 2013. We are all playing this game because we love it, and we are as passionate about it, if not more, than you are. So please listen to the community as a whole. We do not want this game to die yet.